before a small Midwestern boarding school became an unlikely hockey behemoth, amassing more than 20 state championships and developing one of the top-rated hockey programs in the entire U.S. Before the University of Notre Dame won one for the Gipper and became the stuff of football legend, a small group of students left the shadow of the Golden Dome for the shadow of Culver Military Academy's main barracks to play Notre Dame's first ever off-campus team in hockey.
Now I can take out a team, looks like I'm breaking the ice.
The year was 1912, and the lads of South Bend, like most schools with any sort of body of water available, had long played recreational hockey on St. Mary's Lake on the Notre Dame campus. Some 35 miles to the south, Culver cadets made similar use of the frozen waters of Lake Maxinkuckee whenever possible, sweeping the snow off part of Abanabi Bay for informal competition.
You know what it's for. Looks like I'm breaking the ice.
As early as 1908, the Vedette made the plea for a CMA hockey team. The following year, a team was organized and games scheduled, but that season suffered from the consistent problem which would plague the sport at Culver for the next 60-plus years: the unpredictable nature of ice on the second largest natural lake in Indiana. Adding to the challenge of insufficient ice to play on were the difficulties following a thaw, when academy boats had to be dispatched to retrieve the boards used to create a competition-sized playing rink out of the water. The first competitive team, in 1909, subject to the whims of Mother Nature, played not one hockey game. In fact, that seemingly inauspicious February 3, 1912 game against Notre Dame, which Notre Dame won with a score of 7-1 after two 25-minute halves, was one of just two games played that season due to the condition of the ice.
Any ice today, lady? It's nice today, lady. How about me some ice today? Oh, it's only a pointer. You know that you want her. Hurry up before it melts away.
For the first time ever, Culver played all of its scheduled games during the chilly season of 1916, losing only one to Northwestern Dental College. As this and other games demonstrate, during most years of competitive hockey at Culver into the 1930s, the school often played against university teams as well as against private high schools. In 1922, the Vedette announced an exciting step forward in providing the odds of a successful hockey program: creation of new concrete tennis courts to replace the previous clay courts along the lake shore near the site of today's Naval Building. The courts could also be used in the winter as an 8-inch deep, 220 by 100-foot hockey rink, said the paper. The Vedette gives no explanation as to why some competitive play in the ensuing years took place on the lake and not in the new rink. But by 1928, citing frustrations from a near-constant litany of canceled games and weather-impaired seasons, Culver officially bid varsity hockey farewell. Brief efforts to revive the program were made in 1933, but nothing formal resulted, and Culver cadets instead continued a robust tradition of company competition on the Maxinkuckee ice for the next several decades. As the years went by, it was evident that any serious consideration of varsity hockey would require investing in the technology needed to maintain a rink. In 1968, amid discussions of keeping Culver relevant with changing athletic tastes, brief but ultimately fruitless consideration went to converting the current swimming pool into a rink as part of the renovations to Culver's old natatorium. Dean A.D. Nicholson oversaw the formation of Culver's Hockey Club in December 1970. The club played weekends on the recently created pond at the Culver Bird Sanctuary, the home of hockey for the next few years. In February 1972, Culver's first competitive hockey team in over 40 years, though not yet a varsity one, made its appearance, defeating a team from Niles, Michigan in one of just 2 games the team played that year. By July of that year, the new rink was on the blueprints, and plans were underway to make the varsity team a reality. Today's Henderson Ice Rink was under construction by mid-1975 and was open for student and faculty use at Thanksgiving of that same year. The new rink was dedicated on Valentine's Day, 1976, and while it lacked the walls and roof which would be added a handful of years later, it heralded a new era in Culver athletics and launched a program which would earn the school acclaim nationwide and beyond.
How'd you like to be the Iceman? How'd you like to be the Iceman? The plumbers ain't in it, they froze them all. How'd you like to be the Iceman? Get up, how'd you like to be the Iceman? They are like police